All right. I know I've gotten some people messaging me, and I know some other people have been asking when I'm going to start the fishing reports. So it begins. And let me start out with some announcements really quick, try to get them out of the way so I can get to the information that you want. Really quick, we are, once again, Pineville Sport Shops is going to be carrying Rick and my flies. We got a lot of flies in right now, so if you need flies, you want our flies, just run up to Pineville at Sport Shop. They have a really good selection of flies, a lot in stock, but still, they go fast. The other thing is, we have a small handful of open dates between myself, Ricky, and George. And so, if you want to fish with us, check in. I know George has got a few and Rick's got a few here and there. We might have a cancellation, so always worth checking. Even last minute, you're coming up in a few days, you want to fish with us, it doesn't hurt to find out if one of us has a cancellation. So it's always worth checking in. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the fishing. And yeah, I'm doing this in the end of August, but there's been a few salmon around. I mean, a few. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it begins. The reality is, a couple of things that are going on. There has been a small spattering. What I mean by spattering, one here, one there. A couple show up. There's been an odd fish or two boiling in the estuary. They disappear, they reappear. We don't know if they're going up the river, or they're going back out in the lake, the estuary fish, or the fish in the river do not get far. The water here is warm. In the mornings, we're talking upper mid 60s. Today's going to get warm. We're going to hit the low 70s, so it's very dangerous for these salmon to be in there. If you're looking for one, you want to fish in peace, catch a bass, maybe have a poke at an odd salmon, which I call this time of year unicorn hunting. Remember, late August. Stay in the fast water, the real riffy water with this mechanical agitation. The other thing is don't try to swing flies for these fish. You're just too exhausted, too gassed. They're going to be in that fast water. You're going to have to do a really slow, dead drift, sloppy swing into them to get them to react, if they're going to react. And fish them in the AM, like first light until about 9, 10, then call the day on the salmon. Maybe go look for a bass. So that's kind of what's going on, but we're talking about, maybe as I'm talking to you right now, 10 fish in the Salmon River. That's not unusual. However, it does tell me that we probably have a gob of wild salmon that may want to run early. I don't know. I'll know the answer to that by November. The other thing is there is a group of salmon that's moving out of the really deep water, like the 750 water in the lake, moving into the 150 foot range, really close to the bottom, where they're trying to stay out of the hot water. The lake's warm right now, typical of this time of year. So everything is kind of on track, kind of typical. This is a good news in that everything's kind of lining up. My Super 8 crystal ball is a little foggy. So I can't tell, but there possibly could be a nice run of early salmon. Maybe. I mean, the signs kind of point that way, but like you saw, my crystal ball is pretty dark and I can't really tell. But the signs are there. So that's the good news. The other good news what's going on is that in the last couple of weeks, we've had a lot of rain up here. So the ground is getting saturated. I mean, we're starting to see puddles out in the lawns. The reservoir should be pretty well filled up, so we should have a nice release for Labor Day weekend. That might pull some fish in, as long as we don't have a lot of hot water out in the lake to act as a barrier. We could have a run of fish. Now, as for the run of fish on that water release on Labor Day weekend, everybody says, what do you think? My common answer is I expect salmon on that Saturday morning. It's going to be somewhere between 20 fish and 2,000 fish. It's not going to be anything major. And most of the time, it's more towards the 20 fish. That's just how it is. There's usually a lot of hot water. A lot of the salmon are just not close to the river yet. They're just not ready to run. So there's always an odd fish poking around. We're going to go fish it. We're planning on videoing it, so stay tuned. You can see that video coming up in a couple of weeks. So that's kind of in a nutshell what's going on. The other thing I need to mention is the boat boys, the lake fishermen, have had a very good year on salmon this year. So that's a really good sign. When they have a good year on salmon out on the lake, it generally means that we're going to have a good year in the river on salmon. So I'm anticipating a decent to good run of fish. But last year's lot, it was pretty tough fishing. We had a light run. The fish went to the bottom end of the DSR really fast. In fact, this is where I am today, is on the DSR. You might recognize some of the scenery shots that I'm putting up. They just moved through the DSR really fast because we had like 350 plus water, so it was really high and easy for them to migrate. I got a feeling that on Labor Day weekend, the Saturday Sunday release is going to be 750. Those fish are going to be moving quick. So if you're not a DSR fisherman, like just above town down to the High Bridge, might be just below the High Bridge, it could be very good water to look for these fish. And if you hear a really good, if we do good on Saturday, go up there on Sunday, because that's what those Saturday fish will be. They'll be in like ballpark ice ring area. So that's just something to keep in mind. So it's just because, there can be some other great water. And sometimes if we have a little pot of fish, you got to chase them up this time of year. Just follow them up the river. So Saturday will probably, Sunday will fish. Monday's not going to be a good day because on Mondays they drop the river back down to 335. So you have to fish, above town to find those fish. That's a little bit of a tip on what's going on in chasing the fish. The other thing is because of the warmer water temperatures, once they get into it and they get moving, expect them to not be too overly grabby on a swinging fly, more of a drifting fly, just because of water temperature. Now, they are salmon, and they'll probably make a liar out of me, and they'll want to, who knows, you have to figure it out every day. So that's what's going on with the salmon fishing. I'm anticipating a good run of salmon. I am hopeful for a nice slug of wild fish in the mid-ish part of September coming in. But time will tell on that. Those fish, they do what they do. But I'm looking forward to a good fall. And to all of you that are planning on coming up, when you see me, please stop, say hello, introduce yourself. Always glad to meet the people that watch the YouTube channel. As for that, you need flies, go to Pineville. Like I said, I'm going to be stomping around on the DSR for a good chunk of the, at least the early season. As you all know, I follow the fish, but the DSR, where I'm going to be early. And till then, I hope you have a good season. Stop in, say hello, and good fishing to you. We got a fall coming. Fall is here.
This is Jay at JPEG Guides and Lost River Fishing. We are a year-round fly fishing catch and release guide service. We fish the Lake Ontario tributaries, and then during the spring and the summer we also fish the inland trout streams, classic dry fly fishing. During the heat of the summer, we will do the warm water fishing for bass and pike. If you're interested in any of our outings or have any questions, please feel free to email us at fish@lostriversfishing.com. Hope to hear from you, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact us.